guys, and welcome back. We've got another update on the upcoming Assassin's Creed codename Hexe, the game that's set in the world of witchcraft during the 16th century Central Europe. Starting off about the protagonist, we're going to be playing as a female lead protagonist who's apparently going to have a strong feminine energy, and this character's name is called Elsa. Alexis says that it's going to be a very different upcoming flagship for the entire Assassin's Creed title. Now, what do you mean by flagship? This basically means that the game is going to be very small, but at the same time a very unique game that's going to lead the entire Assassin's Creed storyline astray. And there's going to be a new storyline that's going to be started on its own path, and that's probably what Assassin's Creed Hexe is trying to do here. Now, Yara Tabara from Ubisoft Monetro also says that this game is actually going to be leaving an everlasting mark on the franchise. Now, what type of a game this is? It's basically a game that is set in Central Europe in the 16th century, where we're going to be focusing on the pivotal points in history revolving around the mass hysteria about witchcraft that gripped the entire continents, which according to history was one of those times where 80,000 people were executed for performing witch trials, and that is when this game is going to take place. The game will likely involve a lot of alchemy and science confused as magic, plus the fabled Philosopher's Stones, which may potentially be a technology of the first civilization. Now, just a while ago, this French YouTuber named Jonathan, who's usually known for leaking all the upcoming Ubisoft games, and it seems like this dude just has someone that's working inside of Ubisoft that keeps giving him information, and he decides to go ahead and leak everything out in the public, and every time he does it, it's always 100% accurate. So Jonathan has now revealed that the upcoming next Far Cry game, which is going to be named as Far Cry 7, is going to be featuring Cillian Murphy as the villain of the game. And we also have the storyline of Far Cry 7, and it seems extremely interesting compared to all the other Far Cry games that we have played before, because in this Far Cry 7, it seems like we're going to be playing as a character named Murphy, who visits an island as a tourist with his family, and apparently things go wrong there, and Cillian Murphy is going to be the villain that kidnaps his entire family. Now, as a protagonist, you're fated to either save your family or let them die and escape the island. So I'm supposing that the game is going to have multiple endings like all the other Far Cry games. Right now, you will have to choose between all the different family members on who to save and whom not to save. Now, you're only going to be having 72 hours in order to save your family, because your family is going to be strapped to a time bomb that's going to be ticking all the way to 72 hours, and you need to complete all the missions of the main storyline and see where the story progresses. And after 72 hours, and you will be left with different options on who from your family would you like to save in this 72 hours. Now, of course, when it comes to Far Cry games, they're usually known for having different choices in the endings. Now, you can choose to save one of your family members and then leave the other one to die, or there might be an option where you can save all the family members. So it completely depends on what player choices are. Now, it's very interesting that Ubisoft is trying out something very different here. Now, this game is apparently going to take place in some sort of an island. Now, I don't think this is a real life compared island. It's something that's just made for the game, and apparently in this island we'll come across some very huge monsters as well. Now, something like this we've already seen in Far Cry 4, where we actually got to fight the huge tigers, all that really cool stuff in India. And now we're going to be fighting giant crabs. As far as what the new latest leaks have been stating, it seems like we have Cillian Murphy on the first one, and then 72 hours of clicking time bomb, and then we have the giant monsters that we will be able to kill in the game, and then we have the classic Far Cry 7 logo. And now getting to hear that Cillian is going to be playing as a villain of the next upcoming Far Cry game, it's just absolutely fantastic. Now, if you take a look at previous Far Cry games, Ubisoft is always known to be hiring some of the celebrities, actors, in order to play as the villains of their game. With Far Cry 6 having Giancarlo Esposito, who's this very iconic villain from Breaking Bad TV show. And before that, we have the Canadian actor Michael Mando, who played as Vaz from Far Cry 3. Now, he's also the same actor who played as Nacho Varga in Better Call Saul, as well as in Breaking Bad. And Vaz turned out to be one of the best villains in the history of video games. Now, I'm super excited for it. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about the entire objective of this game, having the 72 hours in order to save our family. We're going to be stripped to a time bomb. It seems like one of the best storylines of all time, if done right, that is. There are going to be a lot of different announcements coming up for all the upcoming Ubisoft games, and hopefully the Netflix movie for Watch Dogs is going to be one of them. It's a new thing that Ubisoft is working on, and we've also got a Watch Dogs movie that's coming up. And first off, let's start off with this brand new amazing news that the official Watch Dogs Legion's Twitter account just posted, that they showed off this teaser of what seems to be Watch Dogs Tokyo, a new lore that Ubisoft is working with alongside some of the comic book creators. It seems like they've now written down a whole new lore for a next Watch Dogs series, and in this lore there are two different types of protagonists. One is a detective and the other one is an hacktivist, and both of these guys combine their powers together in order to investigate the collusion between politics and the gangs of Yakuza and the corporation that is behind a smart city grind, which is used to prevent natural disasters and criminals. Now, the lore already sounds very interesting, but as of now, it's not yet a green light for this lore to be made into a full-fledged AAA game. Now, of course, that will all depend based on how good people are going to be receiving this new comic lore that Ubisoft is working on. And also, good news is that Ubisoft is also working with Netflix in order to produce a brand new upcoming Watch Dogs movie, which is something that I am super excited about. And the movie has already been in production for almost a couple of years now. Now, a lot of people are confused because recently Ubisoft said that Watch Dogs Legion was not a huge success, due to which they're not going to be continuing the series of Watch Dogs at all. Now, this of course can be changed if the new Watch Dogs Tokyo becomes a massive success alongside the upcoming Watch Dogs movie. If that becomes a success, that could of course be boosting the sales for Watch Dogs Legions and all the other Watch Dogs games, of course. And hopefully this makes Ubisoft reconsider the idea of making a new Watch Dogs game, and I would love to see the setting to be a futuristic Tokyo. If you go to their official website, you can actually take a look at how amazing the comic book looks. It seems like we're going to be some sort of a vigilante who's going to be fighting against the government, and you play as two different characters. One is a male and the other one is a female character, apparently. And the female is a little bit of a crazy chick, and then you have a male who's also kind of a little bit crazy. So both of the characters are absolutely nuts. So I'm super excited. I'm kind of hoping that this could turn out to be a real thing for a AAA Watch Dogs game. So let me know in the comments down below, how would you guys like this to happen? Would you guys like Ubisoft to go ahead and make an official Watch Dogs game that is related to this comic book? So moving up, finally, there is this information that we've already covered before on my previous video, but for those of you guys who haven't really heard about it, it seems like Ubisoft is currently having plans in order to make a sequel for Assassin's Creed Mirage. Because during the AMA session from Ubisoft developers, the creative director of Assassin's Creed Mirage has revealed that they actually have more plans in order to take on the storyline of Basim even further than Assassin's Creed Mirage. So maybe there could be a sequel that will be coming up in the future. Now, before that, we have some very interesting information about what could possibly turn out to be. The PlayStation is planning on releasing a new PS5 Pro version, and there was recently a new rumor that just came out, which has given us more information about PlayStation 6 than what we've been expecting. And this comes from Rhino on Twitter, where he shared some of these informations, which states that unconfirmed rumor of PlayStation 6. One of the things that we know is that it's going to be the most powerful console of its generation. Of course, this is what both Xbox and PlayStation says, but then only the field test could determine on which console is more powerful. Even with the extra teraflops, we did understand that Xbox is not better than PS5. But then, of course, when it comes to my personal choice, the kind of content and games that's available, PlayStation always takes the win. So it also seems as though PlayStation is actually planning to bring a new console that is related to PlayStation 6. Now, this is not some sort of a PSP or, a much lesser version. It seems like it could be a much more powerful version, which could kind of compete with maybe PlayStation 5 Pro versions or PS5, which seems like at least it's going to be competing with PS5 Pro, or maybe even it could be closer to PS6, because it seems as though a weaker console is of course possible. So PlayStation is actually planning on releasing a PS6 handheld, and then comes PS6 Lite. Now, PS6 Lite is what makes everything interesting, because it seems like PlayStation has some plans in order to release a new console which is much less powerful, and I don't know why they would do that or whatsoever, because we already have a PS5, and rather than going for a PS5 Pro, PlayStation is planning on releasing something called as PS6 Lite, which could possibly be way powerful than the PS5 Pro or whatever version they might end up coming with, which could possibly turn up running Grand Theft Auto 6, which is the upcoming massive title all of the gamers throughout the world are super excited about. GTA 6 is usually like the big big bang of gaming. And what better way of welcoming GTA 6 than to have a new PlayStation console, which could turn out to be PS6 Lite version, and later on they might release the full PS6 version alongside PS6 handheld version. Now I'm guessing that PlayStation is completely getting rid of the Pro version or whatever, and now we're finally moving on to PlayStation 6, with first releasing the weaker console and then releasing the full-on PS6 version. Now of course it's currently in development for over a year, so it's still going to take a lot of time. It's still in development and we still don't have the specs of CPU and RAM yet, but Sony is talking with studios to tweak PlayStation 6, almost assuredly powered by AMD. Sony reportedly signed with AMD. Release window is supposed to be 2028. We still have like 4 years for this to happen. Maybe that's just for the PS6. Maybe PS6 Lite could be the one that Sony might decide to release before GTA 6 comes out. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Would you guys be getting the PS6 Lite just for GTA 6? I would love to hear what you guys have to say, and I will also try to reply to as many of you guys as I possibly can in the comments down below. Now with that being said, if you guys are looking for a YouTube channel that always keeps you guys updated with all the latest news and updates and informations about upcoming games, then this channel is of course going to be your #1 stop, because I always upload and keep all of my subscribers updated with all the latest content that's going on in the gaming industry. Now if you guys did go on and enjoy this video, and if you guys are excited for PS6 Lite version, drop a like on this video and show your support. It really means a lot to the content that I make for you guys. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy fams, and goodbye.